The screen flickers to life with a single, grainy frame, a small boy no older than 8 standing on a rain-slicked sidewalk at dusk. His coat is 2 sizes too big, sleeves swallowing his hands. A scruffy terrier mix sits obediently at his feet, tongue lolling, eyes bright despite the gloom. The boy's voice cracks through the static. "Please, sir, arrest me and my dog." The officer's body cam jerks as he kneels. "Son, what did you do?" The boy's lip trembles. "We're guilty of being alive." Hit that like button if your heart just skipped, and subscribe with the bell on, because the truth behind those words will leave you speechless, and you won't want to miss what happens next. The boy's name was Eli Harper. 8 years old, freckles like cinnamon on milk, hair the color of wheat left too long in the field. The dog's name was Pickles because the first thing he ever stole was a dill spear from a picnic table when he was a pup. They were inseparable, stitched together by circumstance and the kind of loyalty only the abandoned understand. Eli lived in Willow Creek, a town that forgot how to dream after the textile mill closed. Boarded windows stared like empty sockets. The only color came from the graffiti on the overpass and the neon of the 24-hour diner where Eli's mom, Marisol, pulled double shifts. She left before sunrise and came home after the moon had already clocked out. Every morning, Eli woke to the smell of yesterday's coffee and the note taped to the fridge, "Back by 10. Love you to the moon." Some nights she made it. Some nights the diner kept her longer and Eli learned to microwave spaghetti rings and pretend the sauce wasn't just ketchup with regret. Pickles was the only one who never left. He slept curled against Eli's spine, a living hot water bottle against the chill that seeped through the trailer walls. When the electricity got cut again, Pickles licked the tears off Eli's cheeks and thumped his tail like a metronome. "We're still here. We're still here." But the rent was 3 months late. The landlord, Mr. Greaves, had stopped leaving voicemails and started leaving eviction notices taped to the door like poisonous butterflies. Marisol's hands shook when she read the final one. "We have until Friday," she whispered. Eli pretended to be asleep, but he heard her cry in the bathroom until the pipes groaned louder than she did. That Thursday, Eli came home from school to find the trailer door ajar. Inside, the couch was gone. The TV was gone, even the jar where Marisol kept quarters for laundry gone. Pickles sniffed the empty spaces like he could smell the absence. Marisol sat at the kitchen table, head in her hands. "They took everything we could carry," she said. Her voice was paper-thin. "Tomorrow they take the rest." Eli's stomach folded in on itself. He thought of the shelter downtown. He'd seen the line moms with babies, old men with shopping carts, kids who stopped looking kids in the eye. They didn't allow dogs. That night Eli packed a backpack. 2 sweaters, 1 pair of socks with a hole in the toe, the library book he hadn't returned, Where the Red Fern Grows. He figured the librarian would understand, and Pickles' favorite rope toy, chewed soft as felt. He left a note on the table, gone to find a solution. Love. He and Pickles walked the 6 miles to the police station under a sky the color of dishwater. Eli rehearsed his speech the whole way. "If we're criminals, they have to keep us right. 3 meals, a cot. Pickles stays with me." He'd seen it on a courtroom show once, seemed logical. The officer at the front desk was named Delgado. He had a mustache like a push broom and eyes that had seen every version of desperate. When Eli marched up and said, "Arrest us, please," Delgado didn't laugh. He radioed for backup, not because the kid was dangerous, but because something in Eli's voice sounded like a scream held underwater. They put Eli in the soft interview room with the beanbag chairs and the box of broken crayons. Pickles refused to leave his side, growling low when anyone got too close. Delgado brought juice boxes and a bowl of water. "Start from the beginning, champ." So Eli did. He told about the mill closing when he was 4, about his dad leaving when he was 5. He said he'd send postcards. "I still check the mail." About Marisol's feet bleeding through her sneakers because new ones cost $40 she didn't have. About the eviction notice. About the shelter rules. When he got to the part about Pickles not being allowed, his voice cracked like thin ice. "He's all I've got that doesn't leave. If they take him, I stop being me." Delgado's partner, Officer Kim, stood in the doorway wiping her eyes with the sleeve of her uniform. She had a shepherd at home named Luna who'd been astray once too. Delgado leaned forward. "Eli, being poor isn't a crime." "But it feels like one," Eli said, "and criminals get to stay together." The room went quiet except for Pickles' tail thumping. Kim excused herself. She made 3 phone calls. The first was to Child Services, standard protocol. The second was to the diner where Marisol worked. The third was to a number she hadn't dialed in years. An hour later, Marisol burst through the station doors like a storm. Her apron was still on, name tag crooked. She ran to Eli and crushed him so hard his backpack strap snapped. Pickles wedged between them, licking both their faces until they tasted like salt and dog. Delgado explained the situation. Marisol's knees buckled. "I failed him," she kept saying. "I failed both of them." Kim knelt beside her. You didn't fail, you survived, there's a difference. Then came the part that turned the police station into something else entirely. The third phone call had been to Mrs. Delgado, Officer Delgado's wife, who ran the local animal rescue. She arrived with a van and a plan. The rescue had an empty duplex behind the kennels. It needed work, leaky roof, busted stove, but it had 2 bedrooms and a fenced yard. The rescue board had just approved emergency housing for families with pets. First tenants, the Harpers. Rent, whatever Marisol could pay when she could pay it. Utilities, covered by a grant from the mill's old union fund, quietly revived by retirees who remembered what it was like to lose everything. Eli looked at Delgado like he'd grown wings. You're not arresting us. Nope, Delgado said, we're promoting you to residence. The next weeks blurred into motion. The town showed up the way small towns do when they remember they're supposed to be a village. The diner owner, Mr. Patel, gave Marisol daytime shifts so she could be home at night. The high school auto shop class fixed the duplex stove for credit hours. The library forgave Eli's overdue fines and started a Pickles book club where kids read to shelter dogs on Saturdays. Eli's teacher, Ms. Rivera, noticed he stopped falling asleep in class. She asked why. He shrugged. I'm not scared anymore. One Saturday, Delgado and Kim stopped by the duplex with a pizza and a surprise. In the backyard, a wooden sign leaned against the fence, Harper House. Below it, in Pickles' paw print dipped in washable paint, S 2025. Marisol cried so hard she hiccuped. Eli just stared, mouth open, until Pickles' head butted him back to life. That night, Eli sat on the back steps with Pickles. The sky was clear enough to see the Milky Way, something he'd only read about in library books. Hey, Pickles, he whispered, we're not criminals. Pickles thumped his tail. We're just home. The camera pans out slowly. The duplex lights glow warm against the dark. Inside, Marisol laughs at something Delgado says. Kim chases Pickles around the kitchen with a slice of pepperoni. Eli stands on the porch, arms wrapped around his dog, smiling like the world finally makes sense. Like this video if you believe second chances should come with wagging tails. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we're bringing you stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Comment below, what would you have done if you were 8 years old, facing eviction with only a dog to your name? The truth left everyone speechless, but it also left them changed. And somewhere in Willow Creek, a little boy learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help, and the strongest thing a town can do is answer. End screen. Subscribe button pulses. Pickles barks once as if to say, see you next time.